Welcome back to Daybreak, everyone. Good to have you with us this morning. Well, house prices are falling and single-family homes and condos are now on the market, and that makes it a buyer's market. But selling in a buyer's market might depress you. Not to worry, you can increase your chances of selling your house in a reasonable time by following a few guidelines. Joining me this morning to talk a little bit about that is JC Calhoun, who's with Coldwell Banker, Cayman Islands Realty. Good morning and welcome. Good to have you with us this morning. I'm so happy you came up this morning. You know, a lot of people are stressing about trying to get their place sold. As we just saw earlier, one seller there having difficulties to sell his home here in our market. But what things can sellers do to increase the beauty of their home and to get it sold in a reasonable time?
Well, basically, there's three reasons why a property doesn't sell, no matter what the marketplace is.
Okay.
The first one is the poor condition. If it's just not in good condition to show. The second would be ineffective marketing, and the last would be pricing it too high. Now, as far as the condition is concerned, we would start by talking about fixing anything that would lead a potential purchaser to believe that it was not well maintained or it was structurally unsound. For example, if you had a water leak, your roof leaked, but you fixed the roof, but you never bothered to fix the stain on the ceiling. Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing somebody's going to think about is, well, you've got a roof leak. Mm-hmm. Maybe you don't anymore. So things like that, and cracked tiles and peeling paint and stuff like that are things that really you should do to get your property in a condition to sell. You can take that, you know, to the nth degree. Basically, you can repaint the whole place or change the cabinets and do this and do that and the other thing. And when you come down to that, you really have to decide whether it's cost effective to do those things. And your realtor will help you with that. It really depends on the price that you're looking to get, as well as what it's going to cost to make the changes you're thinking of making. Now, the ineffective marketing, really, what the real estate agent has got to do is make sure that your property is properly exposed in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. And so really, your realtor should have a marketing plan for you. I mean, the beauty of real estate is that you don't pay anything unless the guy does his job and sells your property. Mm-hmm. However, how he goes about doing that will give you some sort of indication of whether or not he's going to be successful at it. So you should get a marketing plan from your realtor before you sign. Price is the third thing. You know, if your price is too high, even if you're marketing well and you've got your house beautifully decorated, it's just not going to sell. So your realtor really is going to have to get into the data, the sold data, mm-hmm. really, to try to determine what the actual value of your property is. Most sellers think their property is worth more than most buyers think it is. It's mm-hmm. just a fact of life. And so even when you go and get an appraisal, you're looking at historical circumstances. So if a market's on its way down, for example, you're looking at what it sold for last year. That means you can't take that amount and push it forward, project it forward to now. It's going to be lower than it was then. So you have to know these things.
For a seller, when they're trying to get their home sold, is it important for the location of their home, like when they're thinking about the pricing as well as now apparently we have to think about crime, which is something we never had to think about either in the past. Is that also affecting sellers and where their homes are located? Without question.
I mean, the old real estate 101 thing, location, location, mm-hmm. location. I don't know who said it, but it was probably 100 years ago, but it's still true. There's no doubt about it. And when you buy, really, your investment is determined when you buy, not when you sell. Mm-hmm. When you buy in the right place, you buy at the right price. That makes it easy to sell it later on. It's a little tough to, you can beautify a house, but you can't move it into a better location.
Right. How important is it to have your house actually ready? I heard when you're trying to sell a house, you shouldn't actually be living in it, so that it gives the buyers opportunity to be a part of it. And is that important, or that doesn't really matter in this economy here?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the house should be ready to show. I don't think the owner or the renter should be there while you're showing it, because mm-hmm. then the customer can't give you honest feedback. He's intimidated usually, so it's best to show it when there's not anybody there, but it doesn't mean you can't have somebody living there. And the fact that we have a buyer's market right now affects really everything. Just to give you an example, when we say buyer's market, it just means that there's more supply out there than there is demand for it. Right now in Cerriva, there's over 2,000 properties on the market.
Wow.
And basically we're selling about 500 of them a year, so there's a 4-year supply on there. So it is crucial really that you do these things to try to make your house ready, or your property ready to sell. And the most important factor of the three really is price. I mean, that's really where most people fall down. They just overprice their property. And just think about it, if we have a 4-year supply and you want to sell yours this year, it means you have to be in the lowest, or your house has to be in the top 25% most attractive properties.
There you go. Now, and with that, as you said, price is very important. Should sellers be thinking, oh, well, my neighbor or my family member was able to sell their house at this particular price 6 months ago, 7 months ago, you know, why can't I get mine sold at that? Is that important for them to be worrying about? Well,
that's an indicator for the agent to figure out exactly what the value or the price should be today. As I said earlier, if you've got a falling market and a price and a place that's exactly the same sold for X, 6 months later it's probably going to sell for X less something. And that business about an exact same property is a little tough to figure because they're never exactly the same. So a good professional has to go into it and figure out, well, is this a better property than the other one, or isn't it?
Okay. Now, I think I read yesterday in a newspaper, Coldwell Banker is helping sellers. Tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing to help, I guess, sellers make some money off of their property.
Okay. Well, if you've done all the things that you need to do, you've gotten your place pretty well spruced up, you got a good realtor with a good marketing plan, and you price it as well as you can. Really what you need now is some sort of incentive for the buyer to buy, because there really isn't that much incentive out there right now. We can't say to a buyer, if you buy today, by next week your property is going to be worth 20% more, because it's just not the case. So you got to give them an incentive. And we have a program whereby our sellers, many of them, are agreeing up front to give a cash rebate of 7.5% to anyone who buys their particular property.
Okay.
So really it's a way to know ahead of time that you're going to be able to be successful in this negotiation and how much money you're going to have to buy it. And it's even better than a discount of 7.5%, because this is money you'll have in your hand to pay your stamp duty or refurnish your place or just put it away for a rainy day. So I'm pretty excited about it. And we've got about 25 owners already who've said, yep, we're going to offer that 7.5% rebate.
All right, so they're on board with that. Wow. So if anyone is interested in trying to sell their home, they need to give you guys a call. Now, I know we've been talking a lot about sellers and buyers, but let's talk a little bit about the rental industry, because that is a big issue here at the same time. There are a lot of places right now that are for rent, and people are having difficulties making enough money on that rent to pay their mortgages. What can people do to spruce up their place to get renters to choose them?
You know, it's exactly the same as the sales process, really. What Eric was talking about in your earlier segment is quite true. The rental rates have gone down too. Same deal. Make sure your place looks good as you can make it. Make sure it's priced properly. And get it advertised, get it out there. You know, there's no Cerriva MLS for rentals right now, and there hasn't been. Maybe there will be one of these days. But you know, you've got to get your property out there in front of everybody. So you really have to attack it the same way that the salespeople are attacking the sales. Exactly the same.
Exactly the same. It's a doggy world out there right now in this economy. All right, JC Calhoun, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate you giving us and our viewers some great advice on property sales and buyers and rentals at the same time.
My pleasure, Sarah.
All right, good to have you with us this morning. All right, everyone, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to get some color trends for 2011. They will be announced in our Interior Solutions segment with Cynthia Hughes. Stay with us.